All right, so today we are solving two-step inequalities. All right, so in example 1, all right, we're going to still use our method of putting a heart around the term that we will complete in the second step. All right, so Elizabeth, where do you think my heart would go in this first inequality? Around the 5x. Around the term that's connected to the variable by multiplication or division. Okay, so now we need to do the opposite operation. To get rid of negative 4, y'all tell me all together, what do I need to do? Add 4. Add 4 to both sides. All right, so now we have 5x is greater than or equal to 15. Okay, Dylan, what do you think I need to do last to get x by itself? Divide by 5. So this is nothing new. We definitely should see a similarity here between equations and inequalities. All right, so now on my number line, what number goes in the middle? 3. What number goes to the left? 2. What number goes to the right? 4. And everybody all together paying attention. Is it an open dot or a closed dot? It is a closed dot. And which way is my arrow going? To the right. Okay. All right, next example. B over negative 3 plus 4 is less than 13. I want you to put the heart where you think it goes in this inequality. Go ahead and put your heart. All right, Daniel, where'd you put your heart? Yes, B over negative 3. Very good. All right, Destiny, what would we do next?
Subtract 4.
Very good, subtract 4. So if you guys haven't picked up, I'm kind of asking you what we do next, and this is like the first time we've done this example. That's because it's so similar to equations, right? And you guys, you know what to do. So I'm kind of just feeling you out on how you're doing, and you guys are doing really well. So B over negative 3. Now this is something that we did struggle with a little bit with equations. When the number is connected to the variable by division. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that while we're bringing everything down. Can anybody raise your hand and tell me how I could get B by itself when it's in a fraction? What do you think, Makai? Oh, Mikhail. I corrected myself before you corrected me. What do you think? Yes, reciprocal. So what would you multiply by? Negative 3 over 1. So we don't want to do over B because then B would cancel to the other side, and that doesn't get me anywhere because I want to get B by itself. Okay, so if I multiply one side by negative 3, what do? Do it to the other side. But there's a catch here. Is anybody kind of thinking there might be something happening here, Mikhail? There was a negative number connected to my variable by multiplication or division. In this case, division. So when that happens, because of my rules of multiplying and dividing negatives, I must reverse my inequality. B is now greater than negative 27. Okay, so negative 27. I want you to fill out the rest of your number line. You decide if it's open or closed dot and which way your arrow goes. All right, go ahead and finish that. All right, what number goes to the left? Negative 28. What number goes to the right? Negative 26. Would it be an open or a closed dot? Open dot with my arrow going to the right. To the right. It's greater than. Okay, it's got to be greater than. So what is this saying? All numbers greater than negative 27, if I plugged it back in, would make the inequality true. That's what I'm saying when I list my solution and when I graph my solution. All right, any questions on example 1? How are we doing so far? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we doing, guys? You got to choose one or the other. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Abby, where are we at? Okay, Dexney, how are we feeling? Okay, all right, very good. All right, so in example 2, all right, it's got a little bit of a twist on it. Okay, so it says which graph represents the solution? Well, in order to be able to pick the graph, I need to get to the solution. Okay, and let me just caution you guys, they're going to put the common mistakes as the other choices. Okay, so you want to be real careful to solve this initial inequality the right way. All right, so here we go. -7 times x plus 3 is less than or equal to 28. All right, I want you to try the distributive property. Let's see how far you can get. Just going to give you guys a couple minutes. Put your heart where it needs to go after you distribute, and then keep solving. I'm going to walk around and check on you guys. -7x, very good. All right, what's -7 times +3? -21. Okay, now where does my heart go? Over the -7x. And then how do I get -21 to cancel? Add 21. Okay, so -7x is less than or equal to 49. All right, Cadence, what do I do next?
Divide -7.
Yep, divide both sides by -7. Okay, but because the negative was connected to x, did you guys catch it? You should have reversed the inequality. X is greater than or equal to -7. So if you forgot to reverse it, you might have thought the answer was A, but it's not. The correct graph for this solution is greater than or equal to -7. All right, so of course they put graph A on there because if you forgot to flip your inequality, you would have picked A. All right, so they're going to put those common mistakes on there. All right, how'd y'all do? Any questions? Any questions? If you messed something up, do you see where you messed up? All right, okay, moving on. A little bit of distributive property here. The first one is a little more cut and dry, okay? Let's do some more distributive property. I want to see if you guys can get ahead of me a little bit on this one and see if you can get to your answer. All right, did you do 2k? Is it plus 10 or minus 10? Okay, minus 10. Positive 2 times -5. All right, so we want to get those signs right. Is less than 6. All right, heart goes around my 2k. What do I do now? Add 10 to both sides. Okay, then I get 2k is less than 16 and divide both sides by 2. How'd you guys do on that? K is less than 8. Did you do an open or closed dot on 8? And open, and which way does your arrow go? To the left, okay? Now, I want you to pay close attention to this next one. What do you notice that's a little bit backwards about this problem? What do you notice? The variable comes after the inequality. So let me make this clear, guys. Is this, or let me rephrase this. This is not a greater than sign, okay? You cannot read it as a greater than sign or you're going to get your number line wrong. You must read it whichever way the inequality is facing towards the variable. So do you see that it's closed off towards the side with y? Do you see that it's closed off? So that means less than. So when I rewrite it, which I would highly suggest you do, okay, when I rewrite it, it needs to stay closed off towards the side with y. Are you guys picking up on that? Okay, all right. Then I write the rest of it, -3. So what is half of 8? When I'm multiplying, so this is real important because the last class got a little confused on this next part, okay? So if I'm multiplying a number by half, I'm just cutting it in half, right? So 1/2 of 8 is what? Half of 8 is what, guys? 4. Okay. So 4 plus 0.5y is less than -3. Where does your heart go? Does it go around the 4 because the 4 comes first? No. Where does your heart go? 0.5y. Okay. So what do I do to get rid of or get the 4 to cancel? What do I do, guys? Subtract 4. Subtract 4 from both sides. All right, now be careful. I'm starting to prepare you for this next step. Dividing something by 1/2 is different than multiplying it. Okay, let's prove that by showing our division. If I now must divide both sides by 1/2, all right, let's come over here to the side and do this division. We don't need to worry about the sign, okay? We're just going to divide the absolute values. 7 divided by 0.5. I want you to go ahead and do that division, okay? Go ahead and start doing this long division, and then we'll talk about the difference between multiplying something by 1/2 and dividing it by 1/2. So what did you get when you divided 7 divided by 0.5? 5 goes into 70 how many times? Did you get 14? Did you get 14? It is -14. Okay, so when you divide something by half, essentially what you're doing is you're doubling it. Why? Now let me ask you this. Do I need to reverse my inequality symbol? I divided by a negative, but was it connected to my variable? No. So just because I divided by a negative does not mean I reverse it. It's got to be connected to y. So y is less, and Hudson's correct, it should be -14. Y is less than -14. How'd you guys do on that? So it gets a little tricky, okay, but still doable. All right, now this one is a bit of a challenge, okay? So if you remember back to equations, we wrote our own equation that had a targeted solution. So we wanted our solution to be 3 or -4. Well, now it's not just a one step. They want you to write a 2-step inequality that could be represented by the graph. So answer me this, at least to start with. What do you want your solution to be? X needs to be what? Greater than -5. That's what I want my solution to be. So now I need you to work backwards and come up with a 2-step inequality. Okay? Come up with a 2-step inequality. I'm going to take one. We'll see if we can come up with one. And then I'm going to kind of work through it and explain it. Okay? All right. Just want to give you guys a minute to just think about this on your own. And then we'll take a couple volunteers. All right, Abby, give me yours.
5x minus 5 is less than 20.
Woo, okay, yours might be a little too next level to start with. Okay, -5x minus 5 is less than 20. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. We'll come back to yours because yours, it's brilliant, okay, but it's a little more complicated than what I wanted to start with. All right, Michael.
2k plus 2 is greater than -8.
Okay, is greater than -8. Very good. Okay, so we're starting with the symbol I don't have to mess with on this one. Okay, so when he said 2k, all right, you can choose whatever number you want to be connected to the variable. That's what I want you to start with. Okay, then you know that you need the combination of these two values to equal -10, because -10 divided by 2 would give me the -5. So could there have been a couple other combinations of numbers that he could have used there? Yeah, there could be. But he knew if he added 2 in the inequality, that would mean subtracting 2, which would get him to the negative 10 that he needs. Then he can divide both sides by 2 and get to his answer. K is greater than negative 5. Okay? All right, now let's go to Abby's. Abby connected a negative number to her variable. So she knew in the original inequality that she had to have the reverse symbol. Do you see that? Because she knew that she would end up dividing by a negative and have to flip it. So when she added 5 to both sides, she got positive 25. Negative 5x was less than positive 25. Well, divide both sides by negative 5, reverse my inequality, and I'm still at my target solution. Very well done. Good job. All right. Did you guys come up with one? No. Okay. It's a challenge. Between now and your test next week, we're going to do these every day. Okay? They might be a 1-step, it might be a 2-step, but we're going to do them every day because it's on your quiz and your test.
Is there such thing as a 3-step?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, distributive property. You do distributive or combine like terms. That could be a 3-step. Okay? All right. Our hoodie problem. A football team orders sweatshirts. So did you know that the more you order of something, especially when it's custom printing, the more you order, the less each one costs? Okay? So that's essentially what's happening here. Oh, yeah. So, because they have to make up the screen and they have to do all that. So a football team orders sweatshirts. The price per sweatshirt decreases by 5 cents for each sweatshirt that is ordered. How many sweatshirts should the team order in order for the price per sweatshirt to be no greater than $32.50? All right, so I'm missing a key piece of information here that actually is in my photo. $40. So the sticker price, if I only buy one, is $40. But how much do I want it to cost? $32.50. So I need to figure out how many I need to order to drive down that price. I need an inequality. Okay? So remember what do we always start with when we were setting up our own? We always start with starts with a T, the total or the final amount. What's my target value? In this case, yes, it is $32.50. You can leave the dollar sign off. Okay? So what are some other key words in here that could help me figure out how to piece together my inequality? What do you think, Zoe? Decreases. So do you think 0.05 is going to be positive or negative in my inequality? It's going to be negative. What else do you see that might be helpful that you think needs to go in there? No greater than. That's going to be really important to help me figure out my symbol. You think I'm going to need 40 in there somewhere? Okay. So $40. All right. $40 is a value that is not affected by my variable. Okay. $40. 0.05 for each sweatshirt. Do I know how many sweatshirts I'm going to order? So that's where my variable gets attached. So 40. Would it be plus 0.05 or minus 0.05? Minus 0.05. I'm going to use S for sweatshirts. Okay? Now the only thing left is the symbol that goes in between. All right? So does that amount need to be less than or greater than? Okay, I need to answer this real fast. Hello. Okay, so what is it, guys?
Less than, greater than.
Yes, less than or equal to. Less than. This combination, I want to be less than 3250 or 3250.
But with the negative, won't you have to flip it in the end?
You'll see. You'll see. I like that I have you questioning, though. That means that we're getting somewhere. Okay, it needs to be no greater than. That is a less than or equal to sign, but I like where you're thinking. So it's all going to make sense in just a second. All right, so where does my heart go? Around the negative 0.05s. How do I get 40, Emily, to cancel to the other side? Emily.
You have to add 40.
Not add because it's already a positive. Subtract 40 from both sides, okay? Now, remember when I'm subtracting these values, I do have to subtract the 40 minus the 32.5. Okay, so I get negative 0.05s is less than or equal to what is 40 minus 32.5?
850.
Not 850, 750. And it's negative 750. Okay? Basically, the price needs to decrease by $7.50. Now, what do I do to both sides to solve for S? It's all going to make sense in just a second. Divide by negative 0.05 both sides. Okay, so some quick long division. 7.5 divided by 0.05. All right, go ahead and do that division. All right, how many times do I bump my decimal in my divisor? 2 times. So how many times do I bump it in the dividend? 2. Okay, so do you have 750 divided by 5? Yep, I bumped it 2 times on the outside number. So I bump it 2 times over on the inside number. No, it's got to be 0.05. It's only 5 cents, not 50 cents. Okay, so 5 goes into 7 1 time with 2 left over. 5 goes into 25. And because I have 0, I just need a 0 placeholder. All right, so that's my division. Who got 150? Raise your hand if you got 150. Okay, look here, guys. I had a negative connected to my variable by multiplication. So what needs to happen to my inequality? I have to flip it. So now S, the number of sweatshirts. You see how it all of a sudden makes sense? The number of sweatshirts that I need to order in order to get my price from $40 down to $32.50, the number of sweatshirts I order has to be greater than or equal to 150. It makes sense. If I order 150 sweatshirts, it will drive down my price from $40 down to the $32.50 that I wanted. So what happens if I order more than 150? Then I get even less of a price point. It'll be on the very next t-shirt or sweatshirt. What would my price be?
$32.45.
Yes, because it reduces by 5 cents per sweatshirt. Do you see how we got $32.45? You just keep dropping it by 5 cents. But instead of dropping $40 by 5 cents 150 times, that would be obnoxious, I can set up my inequality. Okay? All right, so that's everything you need to know for today's lesson, and we will go ahead and get started in our big ideas homework.